Hello and welcome to the news for today, November 11, 2025. We are live on Jamaica Gospel Radio Station. This is Stephano. Good afternoon. The headlines are as follows. United States pledges additional US $10 million for Jamaica's hurricane recovery. Real-time audit. Auditor General keeps eyes on procurement, record keeping, and IT safeguard to boost accountability in Melissa recovery program. In sports, McLaren defense squad selection, Stewart omission. On the international scene, UK government defends the BBC as critics circle and Trump threatens to sue. Now the news in detail. The United States has pledged an additional US $10 million to support Jamaica's recovery from the devastating impact of Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. The latest commitment brings the total financial support from the US government to $22 million. The announcement was made by U.S. Undersecretary for Foreign Assistance, Humanitarian Affairs and Religious Freedom, Jeremy Lewin, during a meeting with Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness at the office of the Prime Minister on Monday, November 10. Holness expressed gratitude to the United States, noting that it was among the first international partners to offer support to Jamaica in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. The Auditor General's Department is conducting a real-time audit to assess the transparency and accountability of resources received and utilized under the Hurricane Melissa Relief Initiative. The Pamela Monroe Ellis-led department is seeking to determine whether internal controls are adequate to prevent any potential fraud, waste, and abuse of public resources during disaster response and recovery. In conducting its audit, the OGD will assess whether proper information technology controls exist over www.supportjamaica.gov.gm website. The government website was established as the central hub for public donations and volunteer registration. In sports, with several fan favorites omitted from the 26-man squad, Reggae Boys head coach Steve McLaren has defended his selections ahead of the final games in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. Jamaica will face Trinidad and Tobago and Curacao in their final two games of the qualifiers, with a spot in the 2026 FIFA World Cup on the line. Ahead of the fixtures, McLaren revealed his squad over the weekend, which drew some criticism with the absence of several fan favourites. However, McLaren defended his selection process and said he went with players he believes can bring the team to victory. 18 months ago on the first day, the goal was qualification for the World Cup, and in that time we've used a lot of players, but we've also had a core of players who've been regular, been in every camp and every game with us, he said. That's why I picked the players that I picked. They've been in from day one. I trust them and they trust me. We all know what we want from each other. End quote. On the international scene, Britain's government rallied to the defense of the BBC on Tuesday after allegations of bias from its critics and the threat of a lawsuit from US President Donald Trump over the way the broadcaster edited a speech he made after losing the 2020 presidential election. Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy said that the national broadcaster faces challenges, some of its own making, but is by far the most widely used and trusted source of news in the United Kingdom, end quote. With critics in media and politics demanding an overhaul of the BBC's funding and governance, Nandy said that the BBC as an institution is absolutely essential to this country. At a time when the lines are being dangerously blurred between facts and opinions, news and polemic, the BBC stands apart, she said in the House of Commons. A lawyer for Trump is demanding a retraction, apology, and compensation from the broadcaster over the alleged defamatory sequence in a documentary broadcast last year. Fallout from the documentary has already claimed the BBC's top executive, Tim Davie, and head of news, Deborah Turnis, who both resigned over what the broadcaster called an error of judgment. That's the news for today, November 11, 2025. Good afternoon.